Hi and welcome to another episode of Roettgen Braai Master. Today we're making pork brisket with smoked maroons and garlic mushrooms. And what you need for it and how to do it, I'm going to show you in this episode. And this is what we need for today's dish. Now we need some maroons, and they are already steamed and peeled, so we're just going to give them a little bit of smoke later on. We need some mushrooms, and I have some wonderful oyster mushrooms, king oyster mushrooms over here, and just some regular brown mushrooms. We need 2 cloves of garlic, a little bit of mustard, some wok oil, as well as your favorite rub. Now I like to use Ankerkraut pulled at piggy. And then to the star of today's show, this is our pork brisket, so nice and thick. It actually sits on top of the end of the rib cage towards the neck, so that's why the bones are still in here. So we're going to take the silver skin off, but as you can tell, it's great marbling. Now I ordered this from Der Ludwig, and I'm going to put a link in the description for you where I ordered it, but I think it's an absolutely lovely piece of meat. I've already taken off the skin on the top side because obviously that won't render down, but we will leave the fat on. Now as the first step, we're going to remove the silver skin, and what you do is you take a spoon, and I think I've shown that already on my my pork rib video, but you go along the ribs underneath the silver skin, and you try to loosen it a little bit so that, you know, all the flavors and the rub can actually penetrate the meat on that side as well, otherwise it would be rather chewy. Now if you can take it off in one go, fantastic. If you can't, that's alright. You can use some kitchen towel as help, but this one comes off rather easily, so I'm quite pleased with it. Now I know that there's some cartilage on here, but I'm not going to bother with it. It's just going to stay on, and then we'll see how that goes. Now in the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to use some mustard, and we're going to spread it all over. Now what the mustard does is it acts as a binding agent for our rub, so just make sure that you cover any kind of meat that you want to rub, you know, from all sides. Now you can use olive oil as well. It has basically the same qualities, but I just like to use rub. Now it doesn't add any flavor to it or anything like that, so don't worry about that part. Now with the rub, try to be, you know, don't use it sparingly. Give it a good heap, because you know, the meat can really take it, as well as, you know, you will add great flavor to whatever you're cooking. So be generous. Now we're going to barbecue this fat cap up so that the fat can render down and really make sure that the meat stays nice and juicy. And I'm also going to keep it in this pan to capture the juices, so it will stay on this little rack. Well, welcome to the barbecue. Now it is already hot, and I'm using my indirect setup, and as you can tell, I've also put a thermometer on the inside. We're using the 3-2-1 method, so we're going to smoke it for 3 hours, wrap it for 2 hours, and then give it a glaze for 1 hour. And I'm going to add some liquid in here just to, you know, moisturize the whole thing, and we're going to be smoking with hickory wood for today. Now whilst the meat is on the barbecue, we're going to take care of the mushrooms. We actually don't have to do anything with the maroons. We're just going to add them later on at the last hour to give them a little bit of heat and smoke. Now I've already washed the mushrooms, and with the king oysters, what I like to do is I just like to quarter them and then half them again, and that's a good size later on to put in the wok. With the other mushrooms, I just basically quarter them, as in the regular brown mushrooms. Whoops. I like to take off the stem, cut them in quarters, and that's about it. And with the oyster mushrooms, I basically just cut them in half, and that should do it. Now I'm going to be finishing this off, and then I'll see you at the 3-hour mark outside on the barbecue again. Now the first 3 hours are up, and what we're going to do now is we're going to wrap it, and I think it has taken on a lovely color, and the water has evaporated that was in there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to pour some apple juice in the bottom and then just wrap the top part of it and steam it for the next 2 hours. Make sure that it's nice and tight so that the steam really stays in there and doesn't evaporate. And back on it goes. The 2 hours of steaming are up, and we're going to have a quick look and start basting the pork. Temperature wise we're already there, so this is now really just to give it the final basting, but look at how the bones are already sticking out, so I think that looks absolutely fantastic. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the first coat on, and then we're going to start taking care of the maroons as well as the mushrooms, because obviously the mushrooms won't take long. You still want to have a little bit of bite to it, but I think that looks absolutely phenomenal and it smells divine. Look at how shaky that is. Yeah, I'm quite thrilled. I think we're really on a good path, on a good at a good stage. Just in case you're wondering, I'm using my homemade Jim Beam barbecue sauce that I made in a previous video. So if you want, I can put that in the description for you. Otherwise, just go to the playlist and you'll see it there. Now we're going to let that set for about 20 minutes, and then we're going to give it the second coat. And now we're going to move over to the mushrooms. Now the wok is sufficiently hot, and we're going to add some of that wok oil into it, and then we're going to add the garlic, give that a quick roast, and then we're going to add the mushrooms. I'm going to add a little more wok oil to it. As the mushrooms will initially soak up the wok oil and then obviously release the water that they retain. But let me tell you, so far the smell is incredible. And we're going to turn down the heat a little bit, cover them, and let them simmer for a little while. Now the first 20 minutes are up, and I've already given it a second coat, but I think it looks absolutely fantastic already. Now, as you can tell, I've put the maroons in just to give them a bit of a smoke as well as temperature. The mushrooms are almost done, so I think in about 20 minutes time we're ready to eat. Exactly 3 hours later, our pork brisket is done, and I think it feels amazing, it looks amazing, the bones are ready to come off. So let's do a center cut. Let's see. Super soft, and I can tell you already that it's super juicy. Now I think that looks absolutely amazing. Look at the juices running out. I hope you can tell, but that is absolutely awesome. So I'm going to plate up now and show you the final picture. And there you have it, guys, our pork brisket with smoked maroons and garlic mushrooms. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. We're gonna dig in now. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video about the pork brisket. Now, it was absolutely delicious. It fell off the bone, as you could see in the video. So yeah, if you get your hands on one, I do suggest that you try. Now obviously if you did enjoy the video, I would appreciate a comment and a thumbs up. And please head over to that subscribe button for more great videos to come. And I hope to see you soon again at Roettgen Braai Master.